Ever wish you had a secret formula, a kind of superpower for solving pretty much any problem that life throws at you? Well, today we're putting on our detective hats because we're about to crack a code that goes way beyond just tech. It's all about turning total chaos into crystal clarity.
Oh, you know this feeling. We've all been there, right? That little jolt of panic when the Wi-Fi icon just disappears. Your phone won't connect, nothing's loading, and your first instinct is just chaos. You start clicking everything, restarting things randomly, just praying that something, anything, will magically fix it.
But what if I told you there's a structured, calm, and honestly a way more effective way to handle it? A method that works not just for your Wi-Fi, but for almost any problem you can think of. See, the pros in IT, they have a system. It's so powerful, it's basically a detective's toolkit for solving mysteries. It's officially called the troubleshooting methodology, and today we're going to add it to your skill set.
So what is this thing, really? Well, think of it as a roadmap, a step-by-step guide that takes you from that, oh no, what's happening feeling all the way to problem solved. And the goal isn't just to fix it, it's to fix it fast and without accidentally breaking 3 other things in the process.
And here is that roadmap. These are the 6 steps to our investigation. It takes us all the way from identifying the crime scene to filing the final case report. We're going to walk through every single one.
And to make this feel real, we're going to follow a tech detective on a super common case, a user who suddenly can't get online. This will be our case study as we go through the process.
Every great detective story starts with gathering the clues, right? Phase 1 is all about surveying the scene and figuring out what's actually going on before you start jumping to conclusions. So, let's get our investigation started with the very first and maybe most important move, step 1.
Which is, of course, to identify the problem. It sounds obvious, I know, but you can't solve a mystery if you don't really know what the mystery is in the first place. So in our case, our detective talks to the user, asks what's up, and then, and this is key, they sit down at the computer and confirm the problem for themselves. They see it with their own eyes, no assumptions. So you're gathering info, you're trying to make the problem happen again, and then you ask the golden question. Has anything changed recently? Seriously, that one question can crack a case wide open.
All right, we've got our initial clues. It's time to move on to step 2.
And this is where we establish a theory of probable cause. This is the fun part. It's where you put on your thinking cap and say, okay, based on what I know, what's the most likely suspect here?
And aha, our detective finds out that a new network proxy setting was pushed out this very morning. Now that is a huge clue. So the theory becomes, the new setting is our villain. Now, a good detective doesn't get tunnel vision. They might do a quick search online, think about other possibilities, and they always question the obvious. I mean, could it just be a loose cable? Maybe. But right now, that proxy theory feels really strong.
But a theory is just a theory until you can prove it. Which brings us to the all-important step 3.
We have to test the theory. You can't just go claiming that new proxy setting without some hard evidence. This is the moment of truth, where you find out if your hunch is actually correct.
So our detective comes up with a simple test. Maybe they just turn off that new setting for a second on that one machine and see what happens. And this is the beauty of the process. If the test fails, you don't panic. You just say, okay, wrong theory, and you loop right back to step 2. But now you know one thing it isn't. All right, quick pop quiz for you. Let's say you're digging through forums, looking at vendor websites, trying to form an educated guess about a problem. Which step are you in? If you said step 2, establishing a theory, you are spot on.
And? It worked. Our test confirmed the theory. The proxy setting was the culprit. We've got him. So now we shift gears from diagnosing to doing. Welcome to Phase 2, solving the mystery.
But hold on. Before we rush in and start fixing things, here is a pro tip that will save you one day, I promise. Before you change anything, you take a quick snapshot. Write down the current settings. Why? It's your undo button. It's your get out of jail free card if your fix accidentally makes things worse.
Okay, with our safety net in place, we are officially ready to proceed with step 4.
Which is to establish a plan of action and then implement the solution. And I love the order there. It's not just go fix it. The pros plan their move first. They think through the steps to do it right. For our detective, the plan is simple. Put in the correct proxy settings. But a good plan also has a what if. What if this doesn't work? The plan says it's time to escalate. Time to call for backup.
The fix is in, the setting is changed, case closed, right? Not so fast. We are on to the crucial Step 5.
And this, right here, is what separates the amateurs from the pros. You have to verify full system functionality. It's not enough to know the original problem is gone. You have to make sure your solution didn't create a brand new problem somewhere else.
So our detective confirms, yep, the user can browse the web. Awesome. But then they also check, can they still print? Can they still get to the company file server? Yes and yes. Okay, now you take it a step further and think, how can we make sure this never happens to anyone else again?
Okay, the user is back to work, the system is stable, and now we have our final and maybe the most easily forgotten piece of detective work, Step 6.
We have to document everything. This is our detective filing the case report. Now, I know, it can feel like boring paperwork, but trust me, this is one of the most powerful steps in the entire process.
Our detective just writes a quick, clear note. Here was the problem, here's what caused it, here's the fix. Then they pop it into the company's shared knowledge base. So the next time this problem happens, the next tech doesn't have to investigate at all. They just look it up and solve it in 2 minutes. That's a huge win.
So let's zoom out for a second. Why go through all this trouble? Why is having a formal process like this so much better than just, winging it?
Well, the difference is night and day. The chaotic approach, it wastes time, it creates new problems, it's just frustrating. But the methodical approach, that leads to efficient diagnoses, fixes that actually work, and, best of all, it builds a library of knowledge that makes the whole team smarter. It turns a moment of panic into a chance to learn something.
And that is the real secret here. This 6-step method isn't just for IT. It's a framework for clear thinking. A project at work is failing? A process at home is a mess? Try it. Identify the real problem, form a theory about why, test it, and then implement a real solution. So I'll leave you with this. What mystery in your life could you solve just by being a little more like a tech detective?